Welcome to Dividend Investing with me. For those that don't know what it is, dividend investing is a method of buying stocks of companies that make regular cash payouts to shareholders as a reward for owning their stock. Many companies pay dividends to shareholders 4 times a year, others do it monthly, and some just pay annually. In either case, you as a shareholder would get paid while doing nothing for the company other than owning their shares. This is an example of passive income, and it is a great way to generate a source of income. That being said, not all companies that pay dividends are equal. Some companies that pay dividends may not be strong or big enough to withstand a decline in business or the economy, so it's wise to invest in companies that not only pay dividends but are strong, well-known companies. Think companies like Microsoft and McDonald's. That being said, the quickest way to get these dividend payouts is to look for dividends with an X date closest to today. I prefer to look at mega cap and large cap as they are less volatile, so there's less risk of losing initial investment in the short term. So now let's go ahead and find companies that have an X dividend date that's closest to today. So you can use whatever tool you have, but I like to use Fidelity as I have a trading account with them. So if you go to News and Research, go to Stocks. You can see the screener tools over here. Go ahead and start a stock screen. And let's go ahead and click on market capitalization. And we're going to click on mega cap and large cap, which again, these companies tend to be less volatile, so that's something that I prefer. And if we go ahead, we can go ahead and open up dividends, see X dividend date. And if we want to, we can also add the dividend yield and the last dividend that was paid out and how much it was. So now you can see this table here under the screener results with a list of companies. And let's go ahead and sort on the X dividend date because we want to see the ones that are closest to the current date today. And you can see it's showing May 4th, which is today's date. Shows the yield and the actual dividend that will be paid out. And a quick note about this, to actually get the dividend, you have to actually purchase the stock and own it at least the day before the actual X dividend date. So since today is May 4th, you can see that they have a bunch of these stocks over here that have the X dividend date as May 4th as well. That means if I were to purchase this today, then I will not be receiving the next dividend payout, which will be usually within the next month after the X dividend date. So too late for me for these, but of course if I bought them now, I will get the next dividend payout if they pay quarterly. So if I wanted to get paid soonest with the dividend, I have to look at stuff after today with X dividend date. Not everyone I'm actually comfortable with investing in, but the few that actually catches my eye is this one, Honeywell. I'm going to open them up. Let me go ahead and open up Pfizer. Scroll down, there's Starbucks, that looks interesting. Visa, Exxon, got Microsoft, Hershey, Raytheon, Johnson & Johnson. See, I just want to look at the ones for the month of May. So Applied Materials also, it's a company that I own in stock. It's been doing pretty well for me. Goldman Sachs and Lockheed Martin. So now that we go over here, we can actually look over at Honeywell and we can see that the most recent dividend was $1.03. And you can see that they have an upcoming X dividend date of May the 11th, which means I'm in time to actually get this dividend, which will be paid out on June 2nd. So you can see here that I will get essentially $1.03 if I were to own this share or in this company, which I actually already do. Pfizer is another one that's going to be paying out a dividend that I'm potentially comfortable with having shares of or buying more of, because I do actually own some shares of this as well. And you can see that it's going to be paying at least 41 cents, and that's the most recent one that it paid out. The ex dividend date is May 11th, and the payout date is June 9th. And again, this is quarterly as well. Starbucks is going to be paying at least 53 cents per share. Ex dividend date is also May 11th, and the payout date is later this month on the 26th, and this pays quarterly. Visa, for its price, does pay like a smaller in terms of dividend yield percentage, only 45 cents per share, and that will be paid out on June 1st as long as you purchase a share of this before May 11th. Exxon will be paying 91 cents per share at least, with the ex-dividend date being May 15th, and you will be paid on June 9th. Microsoft, another great stock, another great company, I should say, will pay out 68 cents for the next dividend payout, with ex-dividend date being May 17th and the payout date being June 8th. Hershey, a company that I didn't look into until recently, which actually has a great historical trend here, has dividends that will be paid out on June 15th as long as you purchase the stock before May 18th, and it will pay you $1.03, round up to maybe $1.04 per share that you have. Raytheon, as you can see, it will be paying out 59 cents a share as long as you own it before May 18th, and it will be paid out on June 15th. Johnson & Johnson will be paying you $1.19 as long as you purchase it before May 22nd, and the payout date will be on June 6th. Applied Materials will be paying you 32 cents per share that you own as long as you own it before May 24th, with the payout date being on June 15th. Goldman Sachs will pay you $2.50 at least per share as long as you own it before the end of the month, May 31st, with the payout date being June 29th. And the last one here that I have that I might be comfortable with purchasing more shares off to get dividends is Lockheed Martin. And you can see here for every share that you own, you will get at least $3 per share as long as you own it before May 31st, with the payout date being June 23rd. So just as an FYI, there are a lot more companies that will pay out dividends. These are just the ones that announced the next one that they have. So they have announced their ex-dividend date and the payout date. But there's a lot more companies, of course, that do pay out on a different month, on a different time scale. So this is not all that I'm comfortable with. There's a lot of other companies that I am very comfortable with owning more shares of. But my strategy is to pick shares, companies that I really like that have an upcoming ex-dividend date so I can get that bonus faster. Because what I'll do with those dividends is basically reinvest them to help snowball my financial gains. Now, as an example to see how much money you can make off dividends with these companies, I created this nice little spreadsheet here with some formulas in place that will help determine how much you'll actually make if you invest. So I have those companies: Honeywell, Pfizer, Starbucks, Visa, Exxon, Target, Microsoft, Hershey, Raytheon, Johnson & Johnson, Applied Materials, Goldman Sachs, and Lockheed Martin here. And I have listed out their ex-dividend dates, plus the hypothetical number of shares owned. And here's the current payout, or the most recent one that they had listed, that will most likely be the same dividend payout for this upcoming dividend payout. And basically, this is going to be the dividend payout times the number of shares that you have. So for example, if I just put a value of 1 over here, if I have 1 Honeywell share, I'm only going to get $1.03 for dividends for this upcoming payout. Now, this is a calculator for just how much you'll make annually with this stock. So again, this is something that pays dividends annually. So assuming the dividend payout doesn't increase or change, you're going to be getting $4.12 off this stock for the year. These middle two columns is basically a summation of the other ones if you add more hypothetical shares owned for each of these other stocks. And here is the current stock price, at least as of yesterday. Today's May 4th, but this was the price at closing of May 3rd. So basically, if you were to own 1 share of this, you would have had to spend $197.96 to get $4 for the year. So if I were to play with this some more, let's just say I have 10, which means with dividend payout, I will get $10 this upcoming dividend payout, which over the year, if you times it by 4, I'll get $41, and you can see how the numbers start to grow. If I were to do the same thing, just add 10 with Pfizer, you can see that with Pfizer, I would actually get $4.10 for each share, well, actually not each share, altogether, as each share pays 41 cents. And you can see that over the course of a year, I would get $16.40 from that. And you can see how the total dividends for the year actually jumps, or for the quarter, from what it was before when it was just Honeywell plus with Honeywell and Pfizer. And I would have $57.60 at the end of the year in just dividends alone. And if I continue to just play around with this, I'll just put 10 with Starbucks, 10 with Visa, and 10 with everyone else. You'll see how the numbers start to add up and change. With Starbucks, I would get $5.30. If I were to own 10 for the dividend, I'll get $21 for the year. Visa, $4.50, 18 for the year, and so on and so forth. So if I were to own 10 of these stocks before the ex-dividend dates of this month, I would get, for this quarter, $137.26 worth of dividends, and throughout the course of the year, I should say over a year, I would get $549.04. Again, this is assuming the dividend payout doesn't change, which historically a lot of companies do increase them on a yearly basis. Now the thing to note is that you have to own these shares before the ex-dividend date, which means you have to have funds to actually purchase these shares, and just using the stock price from the day before, you can see that if I was to own 10 Honeywell shares, that basically means I would have had to spend close to $2,000 to own 10. With Pfizer, it would be $384 because the stock price per share is $38, and you can see the rest of the numbers here. So the most expensive one is Lockheed Martin, which is $453 per share. So to own 10 of them, it is about $4,500. Altogether, basically, to own 10 of each of these shares, then you would have had to invest in about $25,625, which sounds like a lot, I know, but this is something that you can do over time. Spend a little bit less going out, put more of your paycheck into investing, and you're going to see how this grows. And when you invest in companies that pay dividends, you can reinvest these dividends back into buying more companies, and then you can see how this will become a snowball, and you'll eventually get a steady stream of income. It will be small at first. This does take time, but this is another source of income that you can have to use for whenever you need it. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be doing more of these videos within the upcoming months for other companies that will have dividend payouts. So I will do one for the month of June once we actually near that, to show you the list of other companies that I would feel comfortable with that you could do if you wanted to. So this is not financial advice, but this is just a strategy that I'm going to be doing from now on, and this is something that you can do if you wanted to as well, or do a variation of this, or do something altogether. All I want to do is just share information of what I'm going to be doing and see if this can help you in any way at all. So, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.